Okay, good evening, everybody. Today is Wednesday, June 25th. The time is 6:30 p.m., and I am calling this meeting of the Macomb Township Board of Trustees to order, and we will first say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before we proceed with roll call, I see a lot of new faces here. I imagine most of you are here about the sidewalk program hearing. So I just wanted to give everybody a little primer on how the meeting's going to run. So we're going to go through the agenda. There's a public comment period. Then we are going to, right after the public comment period, there is a public hearing. When I open the public hearing, if you are here to discuss the sidewalk program, you use the microphone that's on the right-hand side of the room. Everybody gets 3 minutes. During the public hearing, the board is not going to respond on the spot. The 3 minutes are for you, so you can say whatever you feel you need to. After the public hearing is done, any member of the board may address any or all of your comments at their own discretion. So I know a lot of people, when they come to the microphone for the first time and they ask a question, they stop and wait for an answer. We will respond, if necessary, at the conclusion of the public hearing. So don't waste your 3 minutes. Please continue to go on with whatever you have to say. So with that, Clerk Posey, will you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. Trustee Cusimano.
Here.
Trustee Lucido.
Here.
Trustee Papa.
Here.
Trustee Oliver.
Here.
Treasurer Drollet is absent. Clerk Posey here. Supervisor Viviano.
Here.
All members except for Treasurer Drollet are present.
Thank you. This is moving on to approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
Mr. Supervisor, we have one proposed add-on, item number 15, closed session pursuant to MCL 15.2681E to discuss consent judgment, PAC versus Macomb Township, Macomb County case number 2024-004966-AA. That's all I have.
Is there a motion to approve as with corrected?
So moved. Support.
Any questions or discussion on the agenda? Motion by Trustee Oliver, supported by Trustee Papa, to approve the agenda with the addition. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to approval of the bills. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
Is there any questions or discussion on the bill run? Hearing none. Motion by Trustee Oliver, supported by Clerk Posey, to approve the bill run. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. That'll take us to item 4, is approval of the previous meeting's minutes, including the closed session meeting minutes from June 11th, 2025.
So moved. Support.
Is there any question or discussion on the previous meeting's minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a record that I reviewed the minutes of the closed session meeting, found it to be accurate to what occurred. Thank you,
Thank you, Trustee Cusimano. Any other discussion or question or comments? Hearing none, motion by Trustee Papa, supported by Trustee Lucido, to approve the previous meeting's minutes and the closed session meeting's minutes from June 11th, 2025. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. All right, this will take us to our first public comment. This is, if you have a public comment on any of the agenda items, you may do so now at the microphone on the right-hand side of the room. Now, please state your name and address for the record. And
my name is Sam Marasco. I live on the corner of Valerie and Hayes. I'm concerned about the sidewalks that you guys are proposing to have us do. I don't understand why we're doing it at this time, being that the tariffs are on and that the price of concrete, wood, manpower is going up. I got 5 neighbors that I contacted, and we're all in a different price. I got one at $250, one at $265, one at $517, one at $578, and $400. Why is there such a variance in all these 5 people's concrete sidewalks? But they're all the same. Another thing is, a couple years ago, probably about 8 or 9, 10 years ago, across the street from me, they replaced all the county replaced all the sidewalks for free. Now you're making all of us get charged on this for to repair these sidewalks. And then my other question is too, how many bids did you get on these sidewalks? Did you just take 1, 2, or 3? And if you took more than 1, 2, and 3, I think everybody here would like the names of the contractors that you contacted and see what the difference in price is, and if we can have those names so we can contact them to see if their price is lower than the one that you guys have chosen. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Oh, one other thing. What about the streets? My street, I live right on the corner. I got pictures here. My street is so bad that the county, I used to call them and they would come out and put asphalt down. I don't even have to call them no more. They just come automatically and throw concrete down. The approach to driving into my driveway, that approach is all broken up. And if they wouldn't have put some asphalt down, I would have probably blown tires trying to get in my driveway because it would have just been like a square block.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I
Yeah.
think everyone's
So-
a little bit unclear.
I know. So let me just clear things up a little bit. There is a public comment, which is part of our normal meeting, and there is a public hearing, which is about to happen as soon as I close public comment. So you are welcome to stand up now and speak for 3 minutes, but we are going to open the public hearing as the very next thing. So if there's no more public comment on agenda items, now I will move on. First, I'm going to do a consent agenda for the board, and then we're going to move on to open that public hearing. So at this time, I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda in its entirety.
Support.
Any question or discussion on the consent items? Hearing none, we got a motion by Clerk Posey, supported by Trustee Lucido, to approve the consent agenda. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, so now we here are at the public hearing. Mr. Johnson, our DPW director, is going to give us a little bit of background, and then I'm going to fill in a little bit more detail. Go on, Mr. Johnson.
Good evening, Board. So just as a recap, last year, the township passed an ordinance to institute a maintenance program to improve the sidewalks throughout the township. Letters were sent to residents where maintenance was required, and this includes District 1, which is sections 29 through 32 of the township.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. So, the way the ordinances have been written, and have been written for a long time, is that homeowners are responsible for the maintenance of their sidewalks. Until this program, the township had not enforced that. So the responsibility of the sidewalk maintenance has always been on all of us as homeowners. Council, would you agree?
I would agree. Yes, it's required by state law.
State law, so, excuse me. This is not an opportunity to, we're gonna do this nice and orderly. So, there's a state law exists that supports the program that we've put in place. This is not, Macomb Township didn't create this out of thin air. This is the same program, effectively, we mirrored it from Chesterfield. Almost the exact same program exists in Shelby Township, Clinton Township, St. Clair Shores. I encountered this program as a business owner in St. Clair Shores 25 years ago. The exact same thing. Excuse me. We're going to get a moment. You can be able to approach the microphone. So let me get out the background, and then one by one, you can come up to the microphone, and you can ask us your questions, make your comments, whatever you want. So I've had a number of emails from residents. I'm going to try to address a few things. The sidewalks are required to be built along with your home. All of us who live in a home in Macomb Township, specifically the subdivisions, your home could not have been built without the sidewalks. They are required. They are physically located on the on the county's right-of-way. So they are not on your property, they are on the county's. But you are still responsible for them, just like you're responsible to make sure that they are clear of ice and snow, that they are clear from tree branches, or clear from cars that are parked across them. It's all written in the ordinance. It's been that way for a long time. Your house, my house, the board members' houses could not have been built without those sidewalks. It's the same with the approach to your driveway. So that little piece of your driveway that exists between the sidewalk and the road is on the county right-of-way. If that piece of driveway fails, they're not going to fix it for you. It's your driveway. Same as the sidewalks. They're your sidewalks. The township has a legal responsibility to make sure that the townships are safe to be passed by pedestrians. We put the program in place because of that responsibility. And I'm going to ask council here, a couple of years ago, a legal standard was overturned by the Supreme Court. Could you explain that, please?
So previously, there had been a defense of what is called open and obvious. And what open and obvious was is a defense that a municipality could use in defending trip and falls that may have occurred with the sidewalk. So for instance, if you have a large 2 to 3 inch disparity, a trip point of some sort, the defense was essentially, well, if you were being a reasonably and ordinarily careful person, you should have seen that, and therefore it would limit the liability. So for quite some time, that law was in place, and a lot of the sidewalk programs during that time were either reduced or suspended because the limits of the liability were significantly less. When the Michigan Supreme Court overturned that statute, or overturned that defense to municipalities, you've had an influx of litigation that has been flowing from the plaintiff's bar against cities, townships, and villages. And all municipalities, such as cities, villages, and townships, are required to maintain their sidewalks. And if we don't, then the township faces the liability for it. However, the state law provides that the township can adopt a ordinance program, a sidewalk ordinance program, to ensure that the property owners who actually abut those sidewalks are the ones that are responsible for the repair and maintenance of those sidewalks. Exactly what we have here. And as the supervisors indicated, virtually every city and every township and every village has some type of sidewalk program. The extent of it may differ from community to community, but essentially the goal is the same. It's to ensure that the liability risks are significantly reduced, and number two, that obviously these are safe pathways for pedestrians, bike riders, etc. So,
Thank you, Tim. So the staff, myself, council, and then the board ultimately looked at the various options available to us. And really what it comes down to, there was two options. The sidewalks had to be maintained. And I know that the township in the past had took on a voluntary program and replaced a bunch of sidewalks. That was unsustainable. The township had no funding to continue that program. The only two methods are the program similar to what we adopted, and I will go on record as telling you that almost every community in Macomb County has a very similar program. The ones that don't, they pass a tax instead. Sterling Heights, for example, passed a tax. So instead of just paying it when you have a broken piece of sidewalk, you pay something every single year forever, and that goes to fixing sidewalks. So those are the only two viable options to address the sidewalk failures and problems in the community. So So, excuse me. See, I'm sorry, sir. I explained how this is gonna work. You can walk up to the microphone, you can get 3 minutes. I haven't opened the public hearing yet, sir, if you just give me a minute, okay? Just give me a minute.
Sure, he'll allow it in a minute. He's gonna allow public comment in a minute. Sit down, and he'll tell you. Everybody.
All right, so I'm just gonna remind everybody. I know, listen, I have been in your position. I completely understand. None of us wanted to send anybody a bill that they weren't expecting. I absolutely get it. So when I open this public hearing, I'm just going to ask you to please remain orderly. Don't shout over each other. Don't shout over us if we're trying to give an answer after the public hearing is closed. Give us the opportunity to talk. One by one, as you come up to the microphone, please give us your name and address for the record. And then you will be allowed 3 minutes. 3 minutes is a long time. You get 3 minutes to talk. We don't have it on the board, right? You got it right there? Yeah, right here. So right there on that table, there's be a countdown. If you see me raise my hand, that means you got about 10 seconds left. Okay? All right, at this time, I'm going to open the public hearing on the sidewalk program, and the time is 6:46 p.m. Now, if you would like to make a comment during the public hearing, now you may do so at the microphone at the right-hand side of the room.
The county is the one that planted the trees, not us. The trees are the roots that lifted them sidewalks up. And I'd like to know why. I got 4 pieces of concrete that got to be repaired, and they're charging me $2,315.14. Does that make sense? That's a lot of money for four pieces of sidewalk.
Thank you.
75 for 3, Sam. And the county is one who's.
All right, excuse me, we're gonna do this nice and orderly.
Hello, my name is Valerie Folks McCreary, and I live on Valerie Drive. My address is 15489. I am a district precinct delegate. I am here to represent the neighbors that could not come today. I have elderly neighbors that are being charged astronomical price, and they're not understanding at all why they are being charged this. I have elderly neighbors that are crying and trying to just understand what is going on. I do understand, and I try to explain to them the ordinance law. I try to explain that, yes, the sidewalk is our responsibility, just like we have to shovel the snow. We have to make sure that we have the sticks up, the branches up when it rains and storms and all of that. But when you have neighbors that get different prices for different things, for the sidewalk. Like my sidewalk, there's an adjustability. None of my sidewalk pallets are cracked, my squares. And so my amount is $452.38. Well, of course, my husband, yeah, we can fix it. He works for Ford, has been working there for 30 years. I work for Utica School District. But to me, that's astronomical when I can just have it leveled. Because that's what they do. I can just have it leveled. They drill holes into the sidewalk and level it. I was kind of shocked, as a public representative, that you all did not send the different companies that you all looked at. So just like Mr. Sam. Just like Sam said, I didn't want to say your last name, but just like Sam said, who did you vet? Because that is something that, as the constituents we need to know. Who did you vet? I mean, is it your best friend? Is it your son? Or is it, and I understand the smile and the smirk, but I need to know. We need to know. Because this is not fair. Just to send a letter, I get it, but we have a lot of elderly neighbors, and they're not getting it. And this is not fair. So who did you get? Who did you vet? What were the prices? What were the bids? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Your time's up. No, sorry. 1 3-minute shot each.
Hi, I'm Frances Klein, 47004 Susan, the corner house of Susan and 21 Mile Road. We've been there over 35 years. When we bought the home, we were told we were on easement. We have 8 feet of easement in the backyard, and part of the yard is easement, and if ever the county ever wanted it back, they could take it back. So my husband and I have maintained that corner for the last 35 years. We cut the lawn, take care of everything. We look at these sidewalks. I'm not going to say that they don't need to be replaced, but our bill is $1,900. That's a lot of money. We replaced our driveway and some others in front of our own home a few years ago, and they replaced some as well. I believe it was 5 years ago. So I'm looking at it for myself saying, I don't want my taxes to go up. But if I knew that our taxes would go up a little and it would be equally done, I might look at this differently. But I have neighbors that have 250, 500, and I'm like, I'll trade you. Ours is 1,900. My theory for myself is because we're the corner house of 21 Mile Road, between Hayes and Garfield, all the way down, I look at that as city sidewalk. I look at that the county should be taking care of that. If it's in front of my home, I totally get it. I've got a sewer on the side of my home. I have a sewer in my backyard. We have trees that we did not plant. This has nothing to do with the sidewalks, but it took me 3 years to ask the county to take down a hollow tree that was going to fall on a car one day. And they finally did, but it took 3 years. I don't understand, why this, I understand why it needs to be done. I just don't think it's fair, the amount of money. So that's
Thank
my
you.
thoughts.
Neil Kaffenberger. I'm at 46684 Fox Run Drive. First of all, I want to say thank you for clarifying that, yes, the township at one time did replace sidewalks for free, because I was going to call you guys out on it, because Bucci was a big example of that one, and I'm sure you remember that, Ms. Posey. One thing that's not in this letter is how many squares are they replacing? They're marked outside on the sidewalk with their pink X's, but yet, why isn't it stated in this letter? Oh, there's 6 pieces being replaced, 4 pieces, 3 pieces. That would be a nice piece of information for homeowners to have, just so they know exactly what is going on and exactly what they're being responsible for and exactly how much each square is going to cost them. That may have clarified a lot of these people's questions with, why is there such a jump in difference in prices? That's a big key of information I think everybody should have. And but another thing that's not really clear, one of my sidewalks that's marked does have a manhole. It has that whole entire list of messages and all that stuff, your whole list, stating if it's this person's manhole, you're not if it's the township's manhole or the county's manhole, you're not responsible for it. But if it's a private manhole like DTE or whatever, you're responsible for it. You know what? Clarify that in the letter. Then people know if they're being responsible for it or not. It's real simple. Inform people, you have less issues, people are more comfortable with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Mary Carol Pandori. I'm actually one of the residents in that sub that's part of it, but my aunt, who's 97, she's on Butte Drive, to the tune of $1,100. These young kids that came out that marked 3 of hers. One has hairline, it's not even a crack, it looks like the veins in marble. There's divots. The sub is 40 years old. Every house has a divot. The house next door, the cement is cracked from end to end and a corner is missing. Young couple, $0, 0 X's. She's just lost 2 children. She's on her own, financially strapped. She, like the others are saying, is in tears. $1,100. My neighbor next door, 15. I don't mind. I got a little indention. But the same thing, they were telling me that it could go up. Send me this now, and it could go up. My neighbor next door has 4. She fell on a step, called the township. They said township's not responsible. They don't have a program, but now this year they have it. Her bill for her mouth was 50 grand just last year because she fell on a neighbor's cement. It's still not fixed. And like they say, the guys are gonna come out? These 2 young kids that were horsing around that day, she watched them, she videotaped them. They marked hers, missed the house next door, missed the house next door, did the next. And those are cracks. Corner houses have cracks from end to end, which everybody goes. I took somebody for a walk with a wheelchair. I had to pop wheelies because I almost sent the kid face forward. She's in a cast up to here because the cement is like this. No markings, but the neighbor next door has a little crack and there's markings. So the confusion is, yes, if it needs to be fixed, yeah, I agree, it has to be done. But how did these young boys that came out decide who got it? And again, it doesn't tell me how many pieces. It just says she owes $1,100. Is there any financial hardship that she can file? She's 97. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Mike Rogowski, 20387 Sherwood. I'm going to speak on behalf of my mom. She's in Fox Run. She's 85 years old on a fixed income. This is kind of a shock for her. I got a little bit different intake than, from what everybody else has been saying here. She had like $6,000 worth of cement work done a couple of years ago. Okay, she budgeted for it. She would have had all her cement work done if she could afford it, but she couldn't. She pays cash. She's old school. She's looking at the taxes keep on going up. She pays for maintenance on rec centers, parks, all this stuff, but we're not paying for maintenance on our neighborhoods. That's where it should be put. People are paying money into the neighborhood. It should go back to the neighborhood. It's basically just more of a timeline. If she had more time to pay for it, the 3% on added to the cost is going to be a killer. I don't know. I just think the timeline could have been done a little bit better. But saying that, I appreciate all you guys up here doing it. It's a tough job. Thanks.
Jerry Drenzik, 48247 Adams Drive. I'm on a corner. I've got 11 X's for the total cost of $3,300. Anybody have any more than $3,300? I think maybe I'm the poster child for getting this done. Anyway, my question to the board is, are there any types of grants or some way of cost sharing this repair? I mean, I don't mind paying my fair share, but there must be some sort of grant or sidewalk improvement program or something like that. They came through once and repaired a few, but I have a few more. So I'm hoping that there can be something done about that, and appreciate any help we can get, especially the seniors out there like me who are on a fixed income. And $3,300 is an awful lot of money to come up with. So appreciate if there's anything that can be done about that.
Thank you.
Name is Ken Minoletti, 15246 Crestwood, 22 in Hayes area. Wife and I have been residents for 35 years. Approached the township, filed the online form in April of 19. I have a low area which collects water and obviously freezes in the winter. Didn't really get a response other than they ran out of money. And there was a new board coming online and we were going to have to wait to see what they would do. 2021, I reapproached, refilled the form, and presented the fact that it's a liability in winter. Someone could slip and fall, I could be sued, the township could be sued. May or may not be the case. At that time, I was told that you were in the process of developing an ordinance. That was in 21. This is 4.5 years later, and I get a bill for $904. There's no itemization, there's no cost basis, there's just X's on the pavement, and the pavement is actually fine. It just needs to be raised to eliminate the low spot. So I'm kind of curious who is bidding the job. I read in the Journal that Louis Fernaldi picked up a contract for $855,000. What does that contract represent? It specifically noted 22 Mile Road east of Hayes. That's my subdivision, Farmbrook. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Mike Panich. I live at 15390 Valerie Drive. My complaint is if you want to fix the sidewalks, you have to do the maintenance on the trees. If the trees don't have the maintenance, you're going to have this problem every 5 years. It was been 5 years after you already fixed the sidewalks 5 years ago. Now you got the same problem. Do the maintenance. They used to do it. I've been at my residence for 32 years, and they used to come around and trim the trees. They don't do that anymore. I got a 4.5-foot maple on the boulevard in front of a sewer, my sewer. I live on the corner. And guess what? My sump pump drain is right alongside that. It's going to cost me 10 grand for a contractor to come out there, dig up my sump pump because of this stupid ass maple tree. And it belongs to the township or the county. I did have a tree removed because the garbage truck kept on hitting it, a big, huge limb. The county came out, removed it, and I said, well, remove this one too. And they says, well, we're not touching nothing unless it's fell in the street or it's dead. And now this is an attitude where I think the council can pull some strings with the county to get some stuff done here. I'm retired. I'm a Vietnam vet, and I'm thinking, what the heck's going on here? This is not right. Taxes go up. Where's the money going? Give us a break, will you? Thanks.
Thank you.
Linda Clore, 46301 Meadow Lane. I've been a resident since Labor Day of 1998, quite a long time. We have a situation, and I'm bringing it up because some of the other people are connecting to the same situation. When the cement was put in, there were many places where things were missed, and we presented it to the township, and they said, well, it's all done, the money's all gone, it's all over. Well, who knows? We don't look at our sidewalks. If it's fairly safe, maybe it was cracked. I know I had a great big red or orange cross on mine for the longest time until it wore off, but nobody did anything with it. The other issue I'm having is we should not be having to live with this situation, and it's very upsetting. I have a 64-foot fence in the back of my yard. I have a new neighbor who moved in. So they try to make a special thing to help with their drainage. It's nothing to the drainage hole that is on their property. It's towards my back garage, to the back of, not my garage, the back of my shed. So all spring, and just, you know, it continues on and on, my shed is being flooded because they took all the clay that they had put in this drainage system they were making and threw it in the back of their shed, which is right across from my shed, and on the side of their shed. Now, mind you, there's also another problem going on. This is a 64-foot space. It's an easement. There are at least 100 trees growing near that water basin catch. At least 100. And I'm exaggerating, because nobody's done anything to it. The trees drop seed, they grow. I'm having all kinds of trees in my yard. Well, I have some good soil, and some of us in the south side of the township do have some good soil. It's crazy. And then I'm being told, no, that is higher now. There is no way that water basin will work because it's higher than everything else. It's got tree roots all over it. And then it's got plastic laying on top of it. I need some help. We don't deserve this. And if the township is responsible for easements, do something about the trees.
Time is up. Thank you.
Wayne Whitcomb's 47710 Walden Street. Now, we are comparing, the sidewalk slabs are 60 by 62. And what we're trying to understand is, why does one person pay $250 per slab and another person is paying $500 per slab? That part I don't understand. And I'm trying to understand too about the sidewalk like along Hayes Road where there are X's. Who's paying for that? Is it the homeowners or is it the county? The homeowners.
Okay.
Well, even along Hayes?
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is James Machen. I live at 47630 Barber Road in Macomb Township. What I want to know is questions. For example, ladies and gentlemen, are you unelected or elected? Are you bureaucrats or elected officials on the board? You all. Are you going to answer that question?
We're not going to answer it right now. You keep going.
Okay. When's the last, well, you can address these questions at the end. When's the last time your organization's been audited? I want to know what the budget is for whoever's in charge of doing this work, and I want to know who the agency's responsible. And I'd like to see records of when they've been inspected, internal controls that are the people that have to annually safeguard resources, personnel, and money that we're paying in our taxes. So all I have is those questions, and if you could point me in the right direction so I can follow up and find out who the number one elected official that's in charge of you, so we can go talk to them next. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else? Just give us your name and address for the record, please.
Ron Wade, 45418 Ronan Drive. I just got a question about, since taxes is similar to what somebody else said, since taxes always go up, what made those maintenance repairs unsustainable? That's all I got.
Thank you.
My name is Mario Metzai, 47101 Barber Road. My concerns are the same as everybody else, but the thing is, back in 2020, I replaced my driveway, and I came to the county to get a permit, and I volunteered to replace the sidewalks, 3 of the sidewalks that are in my side. I wasn't let. They told me it's part of the counties. And the other thing is, in front of my house, there are some trees. I wanted to cut those off. They told me you cannot touch those because these sidewalks are breaking because of the tree roots are going under. And if we replace them, 2 years, those tree roots are gonna do its thing and they're gonna break again. So And I want to know for what am I being charged? Because I see a lot of X's over the sidewalks. So I have a neighbor across me. I want to know what I'm being charged for. I'm not clarified of what's being done and what I'm being charged of. So that's all.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sir, you already spoke once. You get one time. You get one time. Nope. You get one shot. All right, if there's nobody else, I am going to close now the public hearing. The time is 7:10 p.m. So first I'm going to say, I'm going to do my best to answer some of these questions. I took some notes. I don't know about any of the board members. Anybody who wants to stick around after the meeting, we got some closed business session. I'm happy to sit here and talk to you as long as you want. And I'll try and explain in greater detail, and maybe if I've missed something, you can ask me again. I will say, we spent a lot of time going over how these letters and things went out, and we are far from perfect. Could we have itemized the bill in a more clear way? You're probably right, and I completely accept responsibility that they weren't clear. Excuse me. Excuse me. You spoke. This is my time to speak. I asked you not to speak over me while I'm talking, and all right. Please be respectful while we're trying to address these concerns. Thank you. So, where was I? Oh, the invoices. So, if you have specific questions, what am I being charged? Why am I being charged it? Our engineering consultant, and his name and contact information was in all the letters. His name is Jack Fox. Every piece of sidewalk was captured on video. Jack can review with anybody who would like every stretch of your sidewalk and explain in detail why those pieces are being replaced. Mr. Johnson, now some comments were made about different prices. That is something we also discussed. Can you explain why there are different prices on the bills?
Yeah, absolutely. So when they walk the sidewalk, so AEW was the gentleman who walked the sidewalk slabs. The average sidewalk slab is 5 feet by 5 feet, but not everyone is exactly cut 5 feet. Sorry. So not every slab is 5 feet long by 5 feet wide. So they measured exactly the width or the length of the sidewalk. So if a sidewalk is 4 feet 8 inches, or 4 foot 10 inches, or 5 foot 2, they measured exactly the length of it to make sure they're getting the exact cost associated with that sidewalk. So that's a lot of times where the sidewalk is not going to be the exact same price, because we don't want to just charge it equal 5 by 5 across the board. We want it to be fair as possible.
Okay, but we have some other pricing discrepancies. So if your sidewalk that's been marked is across the driveway, if there are tree roots, if there are on a property line, can you explain all those?
Yes, so the sidewalks in the driveway are typically 6 inches thick, not 4 inches like the other sidewalk. So all sidewalk is 4 inches except for in the driveway where it's 6 inches, so it can be drivable. That will definitely increase the cost. If there's tree roots under the sidewalk, there is an additional cost. It's very minor, but there's a cost associated with that to cut the roots out, to repair that. Also, if there's an 8-foot sidewalk in front of your house, the cost is you're only paying for half of that sidewalk, not the entire 8-foot stretch. You're only paying for half. So 5-foot sidewalk, you're paying in front of your house. Anything 8 foot, you're paying half that cost.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Johnson. I'm trying to go through some of these other questions here. Cost of the slabs. So a couple of people brought up the fact that there are trees in the county right away. As far as I know, if the tree is there and it's in front of your house, you can take it down. I've never heard of the county saying no. Mr. Loya, do you know the county's position on trees in the right of way by chance?
Their new policy is they're not allowing them in subdivisions anymore, but it has historically gone in because townships wanted them over the years, but they have.
So there was a time that where developers were planting them
Yes.
with the new subdivisions.
Correct.
And then by default, they're inherited by the homeowner, whoever home they were in front of.
Absolutely.
Okay. So hold on. No, we did our questions. You can talk to me afterwards, and I will try very hard to answer your questions. I'm going to look through my notes. Does anybody else on the board go ahead?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Johnson, there's been several questions and some accusations on the bidding process. Can you walk through the bidding process, the committee information, how the bidding process went, and how you came up with Luigi as your recommendation to the board?
Yeah, absolutely. So we utilize what's called the Request for Proposal process, or RFP. So we go out for bids using the BidNet software program. So it goes out to all the vendors in the area through our purchasing department. From there, we receive proposals, which we received 5. At that point, we have a review committee that takes all those proposals. We review all of those and score all of them based on their experience, what they have for their schedule, their timeline. Price is obviously one of those categories. From the scoring, we will then interview either 1, 2, or 3 vendors, depending on the scenario. In this case, we interviewed 1 because Luigi was the lowest and they had the highest score out of our proposals. So we interviewed them through that process to make sure they could handle the work. We were confident, we being the review team, there was about 4 or 5 of us that were a part of that team. We recommended them to get awarded, and they were awarded the contract at roughly $855,000. Now that contract was $144,000 less than the second lowest proposal, and the proposals ranged, they went even higher than that. So I don't get the numbers, but that's how that process went.
Were there any board members on that committee?
I don't recall if there were.
No, the answer is no.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. For anybody who is in search of those documents, the bidding documents, you can send a FOIA request to the clerk's office, and we will provide you with that information.
Good.
The question is was it a fixed price contract?
Yeah, there's a cost. There's a fixed price per unit, so it's per item. There's a bunch of items that are in there. A lot of them are fixed, yes.
As the clerk said, the contract can be requested through a FOIA, and you can get the entire contract. Please refrain from shouting out questions at this point. Again, if you want to ask more questions, you can find me afterwards. I will do my best to get answers for you. You asked about the budget. Our township budget is on our website, all of it. What's that? We have the audited financial statements by Plant Moran are on the website. You may look through it all. If somebody could come up with $1 million a year out of that budget that we can take from somewhere else to pay for the program, I'd love to see it, because every dollar we have and spend is accounted for. Just this next year, we are budgeting $14 million just in road improvements. So, when I say that the cost of doing the sidewalks wasn't sustainable for the township, it's not something I'm just making up. It's just an expense that the township cannot sustain year after year if it intends to continue to function in other ways. There were comments made about our taxes. I would suggest you compare them to all of our neighboring communities. Macomb Township is probably the very lowest tax community in the region, and way, way less than our neighbors. I mean, we have the lowest rate by far, and we make do with much less than much larger municipalities. Someone asked about leveling. Now, that's a question for our engineering consultant. Everybody has the opportunity to seek a fix before the contractor comes out on, what's the date?
After August 25th.
After August 25th. So if you inform us that you have made a repair, a level, or some other fix prior to that date, they will go out and look at it, and if they accept it, then you won't have to pay your invoice, or at least that part of it that you already had fixed. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
Are there any grants or cost sharing?
Grants.
Oh, grants. There are no grants to my knowledge that are available for something like this. Now, I will say, and I know this will be of little solace to most of the people in this room, that after we did get the results back from the engineering firm and we looked at them all, we did make some changes to our own policy that we had initially adopted. We absorbed about $200,000 of costs that were otherwise going to be passed on to various other residents or residents like yourself. One of them was mentioned, that the main road sidewalks that the township has mandated to be 8 feet instead of 5, we are paying half of all of those. We are also paying for all of the sidewalk ramps that go down in the neighborhoods that include those little dimple mats, or at least they should have dimple mats, between the sidewalks and the roads. We are paying for all of those. So we tried to identify fair and reasonable areas that we could pitch in and try and relieve some of the burden. But again, I'll go back to, it has always been all of us as homeowners, our responsibility to maintain our sidewalks. Any other board members have anything that they can remember that want to be addressed?
I had a question if I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some people were mentioning that the X's were on certain slabs in front of their house that may have not even been broken or just were slightly cracked, but then there were some that were down the street or nearby that were also cracked or uneven that were not marked. What was the criteria? I mean, I'm sure there was very in-depth, but I mean, can somebody give me a basic 10-cent tour of what the criteria was, why they would get an X?
Yeah,
Why they
there's
wouldn't?
a large list. Basically, the goal is to make sure it's ADA compliant is the simplest form. But there are the crack is, let's just say it's a quarter or half inch or more, or if there's a certain portion of that concrete slab that's chipped within a certain range. Again, I don't have those numbers in front of me, I do apologize. But there's a set criteria that are listed that they go after, and if that meets that criteria, then they will put an X on that slab.
Kevin, I think we included a list of the criteria in the FAQ page that we sent.
It might be. If not, it might be.
If it's
on
not,
the
it's
website.
definitely on the website. And again, one of the reasons we put the engineering consultant's contact information in there is because he has all of that level of detail.
Yeah.
And especially given the fact that he can recall the video from your home, he can go through slab by slab and explain to you what the criteria was that they used to identify that slab as needing replacement.
And also to answer your question, the Ouija contract was if a slab is not ADA compliant, they're going to cut it out and replace it. It wasn't you have the option. We're not going to have a company come in and either raise it or fill it or this. It was like replace. The resident does have the option to say, I'm going to repair it myself, and then the self-level it if they so desire, and then show us that it got done. But the company that's coming in, it's not an optional what they're going to come in and do. It's rip out and replace.
But they will level it, correct?
There's no leveling.
They won't level.
Luigi will not level.
All right, excuse me. We're trying to do our best. All right, anybody else on the board?
Just to be clear on that, Kevin, they can choose to contract someone else to level it, though.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, but our company will not.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Correct.
This is a follow-up.
Yes. Excuse me. If you have extra questions, you can ask afterwards. We're not gonna have a back and forth right now. This is not the forum for that.
Real quick, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Van Tiffelen, can you answer the question to have a contractor come out and level their sidewalk? Do they need to pull a permit for that?
I think they have to go through the building department to do any of the repair work. So there's a permitting process the building has established for this type of work, whether it's a driveway or a sidewalk.
The contractor would, right?
The contractor
Okay.
would. The homeowner could as well, but
Okay.
somebody needs to pull a permit.
Thank you.
All right.
It's
Just
to follow up.
Trustee Oliver.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just follow up. So Kevin, if somebody pulls a permit, levels it, where's it go from there? Does that resident does it bring that information to you and you go out and verify it was done? And then they're removed from the list. Let's say they got 1-2 pieces that are down like this. So they opted on their own to go get a permit, get it leveled, get it to where you want it, you're satisfied, then where's it go from there?
They would reach out to AEW, either at sidewalks@macomb-mi.gov or the phone number in the letter. Reach out to them, then they would go out and inspect it to make sure it's compliant, and they would go from there.
So if
They take off a list and they'd be done.
okay, so if it can get compliant, then they're off the list.
As
And
they
it's
can,
over.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So, kind of adding to some of that, and I empathize with many of you. My understanding is that residents also have the option to seek a contractor on their own and get an estimate and go that route. At this point, I haven't heard anybody come to me and say, hey, I found somebody cheaper than what the township has charged as a price. If you are, please let others know. But I just wanted to see if anybody has kind of encountered that where folks are, finding it cheaper through other parties.
Thank you, Trustee Papa. Anybody else on the board? All right. That's going to conclude the public hearing and our responses. Like I said, I'm going to stick around afterwards, and I will do my best if you want to stick around. I can't do it right now. We have the rest of the meeting to attend to, and we're going to go through. We are all elected officials, and I am the chief elected official for the township. If you have a complaint, you may certainly bring it to me, and I will do my best to handle it. My name's right there in the front. Okay, we're going to take a quick 2-minute recess in case anybody does want to leave, and then we're going to resume our meeting. And like I said, at the end, I'll still be here.
Set the timer, Roger, please.
All right, we are returning to the meeting. The time is 7:29 p.m. We are going to move on to item number 9 is a request to approve a change order number 2 for the 2024 Pathway Gap Closure Program. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
Mr. Van Tifflin?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, board members. The 2025 sidewalk pathway gap closure program has now reached a point where we are ready to bid. We've acquired all the easements that are necessary, all the permits, plans are done, and the next step would be to go up for bid. We have received an offer from the contractor that did last year's, the 2024 program. They're offering to hold their prices as they bid them last year. We have reviewed that offer. There are a couple of items that need to be added to the contract, but an analysis by our engineering firm has familiarity with bidding in other areas, these types of programs in other municipalities. They believe that this is a good deal for the township. It would also, if we went with this extension of basically the contract from last year, we would be able to make sure that this work all gets done this year. We are relatively late in the bidding cycle for this type of work. A lot of that has to do with easement acquisitions taking longer than we had hoped. But this contractor has committed to getting everything done this year. Obviously, that's weather dependent. If we get a wet fall, that may drag some things out in the spring, but we're hoping that they'll be able to get everything done. So with that, they're estimating, our engineering firm is estimating we save about $50,000 if we go this route versus bidding it out and rolling the dice that we're going to get any better price than what we have. So with that, we are recommending approval.
Thank you, Mr. Van Tifflin. And the purchasing department has reviewed and signed off on this?
Yes, yeah, they've reviewed the purchasing policy and they believe that the board has the authority under the purchasing policy to do this.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, motion by trustee Oliver, supported by trustee Papa, to approve change order number 2 for the 2024 Pathway Gap Closure Program. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item 10, the request to adopt updated ordinance language for section 15-387 regarding water and wastewater system benefit fee charge rates. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Mr. Johnson?
All right, good evening, board. So the engineering and DPW worked with Fishbeck to create an updated capacity unit factor table to reflect more modernized type of for more modernized type of establishments. What this community capacity unit factor determines is the fair and proportional fees for properties that connect to the water and wastewater systems. The table's been updated from the current 7 groups to 15 different categories to give more options given the newer ways establishments operate. An example would be a restaurant. In our old format, there's only a restaurant, it'd be a factor of 5. Whereas now restaurants may not have dining or public restrooms, or they may not, some may not serve alcohol. There's a myriad of factors in how they run businesses. Maybe it's just drive-through. So this gives us different options on how to properly assess how much capacity they're going to be utilizing in the water or wastewater systems. These units are determined by the square footage of the building. That's kind of our factor that determines how these factors are applied to new businesses or entities that come into our township. So we're looking to get this adopted so we can utilize a more modernized chart, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, motion by trustee Oliver, supported by trustee Lucido, to adopt updated ordinance language for section 15-387 regarding water and wastewater system benefit fee charge rates. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 11 is a request to promote employee number 3366. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Mr. Tabaka.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, board members. Human Resources posted a lead maintenance worker position internally due to the promotion of another employee. 2 applications were received and the candidates were interviewed by myself, Sal DeCarl, and Brian Wooters. Following the interview, we believe Brent Skirda is highly qualified for the position based on his experience owning a landscaping business for over 20 years and his past performance since he was hired back in August of 2024. This is a budget position. If approved, the promotion would be effective tomorrow, June 26. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Tabaka. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. Motion by Clerk Posey, supported by Trustee Oliver, to approve the promotion of Brent Skirta. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is a request to award Luigi Ferdinandi and Son Cement Company with the fiscal year 2024 Community Block Grant Sidewalk Ramp Project in the amount of $62,170.
Motion to approve?
Support.
Mr. Box.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board. As you noted, this is fiscal year 2024. The block grant, you apply the year in advance. So these are projects that the board approved in February of 2024 that we applied for. We were notified in the fall of 2024 that both of our projects were awarded for these grants. This being the first one, the second one will probably be in front of you at the next meeting. But this one has to do with installing ADA compliant ramps throughout the township. We have a number of sections that need to be updated. This one in particular is largely just west of Card Road between Hall Road and 21 Mile on a couple of the streets through the neighborhood. The estimate was actually $148,797, but the bid came in significantly lower at $62,170, with $5,826 being the township's responsibility and $56,344 being covered by the block grant funding. And staff is recommending approval.
Thank you, Mr. Box. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. Motion by Clerk Posey, supported by Trustee Papa, to award Luigi Ferdinandi and Son Cement Company with the fiscal year 2024 Community Block Grant Sidewalk Ramp Project in the amount of $62,170. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. On our next item, this is a request to approve the purchase of shade coverings for park benches from Mid-States Recreation in the amount of $17,772.
Hello,
Motion approved.
I'm sorry.
Support. What is it, your first time at the microphone?
Yes, sir. Started it well. The Parks and Recreation Department is requesting permission to purchase 4 shade coverings for park benches. We will put 2 at Waldenburg Park and 2 at Pitchford Park, all by the playground areas. This is a source wall item. We are recommending we purchase the coverings from Midwest Recreation for a total of $17,772. I have included the quote and confirmation process memo from the purchasing specialist. I am available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Dopra. And I wasn't joking. Mr. Dopra has avoided coming to the microphone all of these years, and tomorrow is his retirement. So
I like to be the guy in the background getting it done.
You got one. We got you to the microphone at least once. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. Motion by Treasurer. Oh, I wrote. Who made the motion?
Oliver, supported by Lucido.
Motion by Trustee Oliver, supported by Trustee Lucido, to approve the purchase of the shade coverings for park benches from Mid-Sector Recreation, $17,772. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Kenny. Last item on the agenda for today is a request to approve the Building Authority Commission reappointment of Mr. Roger Cardamom. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
That motion?
Oh. Support.
Don't look so excited, Roger. Mr. Cardamom has faithfully served on the Building Authority for the last number of years and has begrudgingly agreed to continue in his role. So, any questions or discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none. Motion by Clerk Posey, supported by Trustee Oliver, to approve the Building Authority Commission reappointment of Roger Cardamom. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. All right. Now, this will take us to our second public comment. This is for non-agenda items. Anyone who wishes to make Public comment may do so now with the microphone on the right-hand side of the room.
Hello,
Get your name and address again, please.
Valerie Folks McCrary, and I live on Valerie Drive, 15489 Valerie Drive. I am making a comment about the street on Valerie Drive. So since it is a big to-do about the sidewalks, the constituents on Valerie Drive want to also know, when is the street going to get looked at? Because again, the street has been patched and patched and patched, especially the stretch in front of my house, as well as it's 4 of us. The 2 neighbors on the left, 1 neighbor on the right. The street looks like it's about to just cave in because it's been patched so much. And so we want to know, okay, we're talking about sidewalks, when is the street going to get looked at? And who is responsible for that? Because the county is saying, nope, it's not us. The state is saying, nope, not us. The city is saying, nope, not us. Who do we go to?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
My name is Sam Morosco. I live at 15210 Valerie, right on the corner, and I agree with Valerie. I've seen her street. It is unbearable. We're all scared to drive down there because of the potholes that are so bad, and it's not even a level street. It's all broken up. Somebody should go down there and check that out. I live on the corner. I've got pictures here. My approach is gone. It's all chewed up. Right on the corner, I must have 3-4 cars every day turn in my driveway to turn around to go north or south. Why didn't somebody come out, other than asphalt people, and look at these streets and fix them? They did it on the next block over. They went and fixed all the whole street all the way down, and that's all broken up. Our street, nobody has came by and even looked at these pictures. I will stay around to show you the pictures because I think that somebody should come out and look at these pictures because this is just as big as hazard as the sidewalks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Neil Kaffenberger, 46684 Fox Run Drive. Bringing into a little bit of history. Back in either 2017, 2018, I live back behind township property. Township owns the property behind me. I filed a complaint last year about maintaining that property around my area. I used to maintain it. I got kicked off of it, told me that I can't do that. It used to look nice, used to look lovely. Now it looks like garbage. It looks horrible. I see it every time out my window, and I'm very disappointed. ITC ended up coming out in the summertime. They ended up clearing out a lot of the brush and a lot of the trees and all that stuff. They came in, shred them down because it interfered with DTE on being able to get back there to fix their power lines. I had a power pole sitting in my yard for 3 months because they couldn't get back there to fix it because of the township's failure to maintain this property. So basically I'm at that point to where I'm tired of looking at it. I think township needs to step up, take care of this, maintain that property, cut it properly, keep the grapevines from growing in the trees that are along the property line so that the trees can stay. At least I got something nice to look at. So let's step up, take care of the people, especially the ones when you especially kicked them off of your property and tell you not to go on it and not even to touch it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't start my time until I get up here. Linda Clore, 46301 Meadow Lane. I checked into possibilities regarding the 100 trees and the 66 feet, did I say? And the response was that unless it's blight, nothing can be done. Well, there's another issue, and I think it's really important to address, is there's a very, very, very tall tree there that is dead. If lightning strikes that, it's going to cause a fire. It's a very big tree, it'll cause a bad fire, especially because there's a lot of brush, broken trees, dead trees in that small space, and the trees are even growing in our fence. The neighbor, I talked to him just tonight, he's trying to get the branches from growing into his yard. He says he's talked to you people and it hasn't done any good. Now, too, also with the water issue from the neighbor who's sending water down my way from his property, I'm having people on the right of me and on the left of me having water running down their property. I had a stream running down the back of my property. Now, do I make a ditch? I was told, no, I don't make a ditch for all the water. But there is no reason why that water catch can't be checked. I know the tree stubs and the plastic are causing a problem. And then it's higher than our land because of all the tree roots. The other thing is, I hope that out of that 14 million, which I think is what you said, that something is going to be done with 21 Mile Road. I know we're at the south end of the community, and that makes us a little different from the north, but we deserve to have a good 21 Mile Road to travel on. And a lot of people from the north have to use it too. Also, if you go down west on 21 at Hayes, the speed limit is 45. Why is there no speed limit reduction for us from Hayes going east? You can't even pull out of your drive, out of the subdivision because people are traveling so fast. I know they're going 60 miles at least on Romeo Plank, and they'll go as fast as they can get away with it. So please take these things into consideration. We'd like our road to be better. I've never seen it so bad. Never. Thank you. Amen.
Thank you.
Mike Rogowski, 20387 Sherwood. I can't believe anybody didn't bring this up, but priority trash removal sucks. Can we get somebody on the phone and, find out why?
We agree. Anyone else?
Francis Klein, 47004 Susan. I too am a corner home, as I said before, and we are the bus run, and our street is, when I say a mess, that they keep putting the asphalt in there and such. Weekly, I'm sweeping up pebbles and stones. Well, we had our driveway done probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and every time someone turns into our drive because they want to go either, to the right or to the left, they're putting these pebbles onto our cement. I just think that somebody needs to maintain that other than ourselves. I'm sweeping it up weekly, but it's a mess.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. We're going to move on to board comments. Trustee Lucido.
I just want to start by thanking the residents that did come out today. I know it's not easy to get up and, in front of people all the time and, voice your opinions, but we do appreciate it. We do take it into consideration. We are trying to govern a township to the best of our ability with, the resources that we have. If you do, some people brought up the tax dollars and why couldn't it be part of their tax bill? If you look at your actual tax bill, I had pulled mine up when I was here, just looking at like what goes where, it's pretty well seen that the township operating itself is a very small portion of that. I mean, you got your fire department, you got your police department, you got your library, you got your SMART, you got the school debt, you got the Macomb Community College. I mean, those are all different parts of your total tax bill. The township operating is a very small part. So all of the rest of the township services that we have to be run off of that if it doesn't have a specific line item. So we have to find a way to make this work. So I understand, believe me, I don't want to send anybody a bill. We don't want a surprise bill like that. But I think we've all agreed, and some have actually given some examples tonight, that it does need to be done. We just have to work together to figure out how are we going to get this done to make sure the township's not liable. Because if somebody did fall and sues the township, that's your tax dollars that have to pay that bill. So we got to understand that we're all going to pay for it at some point. And I understand it is not easy to come up with $1,000, $3,000, $4,000. We understand that. But we have to find a way to make that work for everybody together. So I do appreciate you coming out. We do not want to just surprise you with bills, but we have to maintain the township the proper way. Don't even get me started on roads. I agree with you 100%. That's not 100% up to the township. We can ask, we can say all you want, but to be honest with you, that's something that I think you were talking about, Valerie. I don't know that one in particular, but if you've gone to the state, if you've gone to the county, there's some other ones that we had before where there were some road projects that we developed to help share in that cost. So that might be something you might want to look into where the township will kind of go 50-50 with you on that. But I don't know if that one fits that completely. Other than that, I just want to say thank you and congratulations to Ken Delpra. He's here tonight. As a person that frequents Macomb Corners Park, I think you've done a phenomenal job up there, and we wish you a happy retirement, and thank you for all you've done for the township. Other than that, I think this is the last meeting before 4th of July, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so I want to wish everybody a very happy and healthy 4th of July. And I will be after as well. I can't answer as many questions as the supervisor can, but I'll be here to talk to you, and at least you can vent to me if you wanted to. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Trustee Lucido. Trustee Papa.
Yeah, I don't think I could articulate that any better. I echo the sentiments of Mr. Lucido wholeheartedly. I know it doesn't seem like it when you're frustrated and you're dealing with this, but we do hear your concerns, and we try to do better next time in that. So, please reach out to us. Feel free to stick around. We'll be glad to answer any concerns. Again, also, congrats to Ken Delpra on your retirement. Kudos to Sal and Lacey and the rest of the Parks and Recreation team for a successful Tons of Trucks event. I don't know if any of you had the chance. Always a fun time. I think my highlight this year was actually getting to meet Super Lions fan Ron Cracchiola, so I enjoyed it, but I look forward to that event every year. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Trustee Papa. Trustee Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Yes, Ken, thank you for all your service. A lot of years, a lot of hard work. We've worked together on a lot of things, and like I told you many times, you're a great listener, and you apply what information people give you, and our parks really look great. So thank you. Good luck with retirement. Brent Skirta, congrats. Brent, I know him, well deserving of the promotion. Just if anyone don't know, our Christmas lighting is part of Brent, along with his team, but he does a great job with that. And lastly, Roger, thank you for serving on the board. And that's it.
Thank you. Trustee Oliver. Trustee Kuzmano.
No comments tonight, Mr.
Trustee
Supervisor.
Kuzmano. Clerk Posey.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I would like to echo some of the other comments made by the board members. Understand that the ordinance that was adopted, this was our first phase in rolling out the sidewalk program. And there are some bumps and bruises from it, obviously. And some of your comments are going to help us as it's going to continue. And we have 7 more phases that we have to go through. So you are also helping us to do better, and different ways that we can write the letter to help it make it easier for you to understand and educate you. And so we will listen to all of your comments. We do take them seriously, and we will make improvements as we go. So thank you for coming and sharing your thoughts with us tonight. Tons of trucks to our Parks and Rec department. That's their biggest event of the year. They did a fantastic job. We were there. It was a beautiful day and a wonderful turnout. The community was there. Tons of kids were there looking at all the different trucks. So that was a great event, and congratulations to a successful event. Mr. Delpra. While your presence will surely be missed, this is a next chapter that you well deserve. And may your days forward be filled with family time and relaxation. Thank you for your 11 years of service and dedication to Macomb Township, especially our parks. And I wish you the most wonderful and happy retirement. That's all I have.
Thank you, Clerk Posey. Kenny, and for everybody here that maybe doesn't know Kenny, but you are truly an expert in your field. And the township was better for having you here these past 11 years. And Brian has big shoes to fill. So congratulations on your retirement. Thank you to Roger. Congratulations to Brent. I can't say much better than Trustee Lucido. He always seems to have a way of summarizing what a lot of us are thinking in a very concise way, so thank you for that. Again, I'm going to stick around afterwards. We do have to go into closed sessions. I don't think we're going to be very long, so just be patient with us for a minute. And finally, because of the holiday on Friday, July 4th, we will be closed, but we will reopen on Monday the 7th. So with that, is there a motion to go into closed session pursuant to MCL 15.2681E to discuss the consent judgment in Pack v. Macomb Township, Macomb County case number 2024-004966AA?
Motion to approve?
Support.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. Motion by Clerk Posey, supported by Trustee Lucido, to go into closed session pursuant to MCL 15.2681E to discuss the consent judgment in Pack v. Macomb Township. Clerk Posey, will you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. Clerk Posey, yes. Trustee Lucido?
Yes.
Trustee Cusimano?
Yes.
Trustee Papa?
Yes.
Trustee Oliver?
Yes.
Supervisor Viviano?
Yes. We are now going into closed session. The time is 7:56 p.m. Could you guys, everyone could just give us a couple minutes? We're going to finish up our business, and then we will adjourn the meeting. We are returning to open session. The time is 8:01 p.m. See, 5 minutes. I was right. At this time, I would like a motion to approve the proposed consent judgment in Pack v. Macomb Township, Macomb County case number 2024-004-966-AA.
Trustee Kuzmano makes the motion.
Support.
Mr. Aloya, can you provide us a summary of what this case entails?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This case entails a non-conforming porch at the property of 54828 Carnation Drive. The owners, the Packs, had built this porch without proper permit. It was inspected, and then it was realized it was in violation of the side yard setback. They sought a variance. The variance was denied by the ZBA, and then they filed suit. The resolution is, in essence, reconforming the porch to meet the ordinance. This was a suggestion by the building department from the beginning to the property owners before they sought and during the time they sought the variance. This is an acceptable solution not only to the building department, but also the planning department and the engineering department. And so everyone has collaborated, agreed this is a proper solution. This consent judgment requires them to amend their permit, rebuild the porch within 60 days, and we have the right to inspect. In the event that they do not follow the requirements, then we do have the right to remove the porch and the nonconformities, or the non-conforming aspects of the porch. And if we have to enforce, we do recover our attorney fees and costs at that time. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Aloya. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. Motion by Trustee Kuzmano, supported by Clerk Posey, to approve the proposed consent judgment in the case of Pack v. Macomb Township, Macomb County case number 2024-004-966-AA. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. With that, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved. Support. Okay.
Motion by Trustee Oliver, supported by Trustee Lucido. Was there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. Motion by Trustee Oliver, supported by Trustee Lucido to adjourn the meeting. Members, please vote.
I don't have a vote thing come up.
Vote yes for Peter, please, Roger.
Yeah. Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. This meeting is adjourned.